Just a little more than a week ago, a 7.8 magnitude earthquake hit southern Turkey and Syria. Tens of thousands of people have been killed and many more are injured. To discuss the earthquake and ways that you can help, I'm here with Amina Demir, who's the COO at Zakat Foundation of America. This is an organization that has a 4-star rating on Charity Navigator. And just a reminder, that is the highest possible rating. Amina, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor.
So, Amina, for those that aren't familiar with Zakat Foundation of America, can you share a little bit about the organization and your programs?
Yeah, absolutely. Zakat Foundation of America, we focus on sustainability. So allowing an individual to sustain themselves rather than relying on aid perpetually. In addition to that, we also have a variety of different programs that focus on emergency relief. And that ranges anywhere from immediate food distribution, temporary shelter and housing, and hygiene kit distribution. 7 offices globally, and good work. Very proud.
Awesome. I can see that beaming through. Now, shifting gears to specifically focus on the earthquake, when I was going through your website, I saw that this actually quite literally hit close to home for some of your team members and the families that have been impacted. Can you provide a little insight into what the people of Turkey and Syria are navigating right now and how your organization's response is on the ground?
Yeah, absolutely. So my father's family is from Gaziantep. It's about 60 miles from where the epicenter hit. My aunt, she was living in an apartment complex, and the apartment complex began to shake and it threw her out of her bed, and her family, they were able to exit before the building had collapsed. The first week she was living in her car. It's different. I'm accustomed to emergency relief aid. And again, this is occupational for me. I've been with Zakat Foundation for about 15 years now, but it's a different approach and it's a different lens, understanding that this is hitting, your people, your family members. I was witnessing the footage and these photos, and I can recognize streets and restaurants that have been completely shattered. And so the people of Turkey, they're resilient. Turkey is known for, it lies on tectonic plates. And so unfortunately, earthquakes are not unfamiliar to Turkey, but this particular one was massive. And I think what also is so upsetting is majority of these infrastructure buildings were supposedly sustainable. They were designed and created to withhold earthquakes of any magnitude. And so to witness the tragedy and the impact that it's had, it's devastating for both Turks in Turkey and then Turks here in America.
Of course, I mean, the whole world is feeling it, and we've certainly seen quite the response on Charity Navigator with a lot of donors stepping up, which, is really nice that, in times of crisis, it can also bring out the best in people. And so I'm curious as to, because of the fact that it's impacted people that are really close to your organization, how are you actually responding on the ground, and what are some of the parts of aid that are going really well, and what are some of the more pressing needs that are maybe going unmet at this point?
Yeah, so we have 2 offices. We have one in Ankara and one in Gaziantep. The exterior of the office in Gaziantep, it's still intact, but the interior, it's impossible to work out of at this moment. The good thing is with our work in southeastern Turkey is that we've had a very strong presence for the past 12 years or so since the Syrian crisis. So majority of our efforts and resources do focus on emergency relief, immediate aid, hygiene kits, blankets, tents, whatever may have you. So the resources are readily available. At the moment, I can't even believe that it's been 9 days, I think 9 or 8 days since the information was shared, since the news was shared. At the moment, we're still assessing. We're doing our best to distribute food, emergency relief kits, which again include hygiene kits, feminine products, toothpaste, these basic necessities that we take advantage of. And then in addition to, it's so unfortunate, and I hate to use the word serendipitous because I feel like there should be like a negative context of serendipitous, but Turkey is already experiencing an economic crisis. We're still recuperating from the Syrian crisis, and then it's winter on top of it. So there's so many factors that are playing against the people of Turkey at this time. And so as the Zakat Foundation of America, we're trying to address each and every one of those simultaneously.
Yeah, no, of course. And, we're talking a lot about like the short-term effects of a disaster, but, crisis after crisis, we see that there's such long-reaching and such long-lasting effects of these types of crises. And so I'm curious as to, if you're connecting with me and the donors that are watching, what would you share as words of encouragement to support Turkey and Syria now, and then also to think kind of the long-term effects and continue to support in a sustainable way.
Yeah, absolutely. So my father's family, it's a village called Shanli Urfa, and Urfa literally translates to the city next to the Euphrates, Shanli Urfa. And if you look at the geographic makeup, so Turkey is right in between the Tigris and the Euphrates, and it's the birth of civilization, Mesopotamia. And so whether it's a coping mechanism, I recognize the fact that the people of this region are notoriously resilient. These people are strong, they're capable, they've endured so much. My own family members, my grandmother, may God bless her soul, I'm named after her. She lost 3 children in her arms. And again, not to seem callous, but these individuals, these people are very, very strong people who have the capacity to endure, and they're going to overcome this. Of course, it's going to take international support. Turkey has been very, very vocal and active on any type of emergency relief aid, whether that's speaking out with the Palestinian crisis or addressing the Syrian crisis by welcoming millions of Syrians into the area. It's going to take international aid. It's going to take emotional support, mental support. These travesties that hit, we think about short-term physical monetary aid, right? And you don't really stop and think about the mental impact that it's going to have. I visited a mental health clinic for children. I think it was 2017. And you have an entire generation of Syrian orphans who have witnessed their loved ones pass. And so all of these individuals, I just think about how I'm mentally and emotionally coping with the idea of, like, my second cousin was stuck under the rubble and they've passed. What does that mean for someone who is with their loved one, hearing their loved one, and then not hearing their loved one after an extended period of time? So it's going to have to be a holistic approach, and it's definitely not going to happen. It's not going to happen anytime soon.
And I appreciate you walking us through that. I mean, it's one thing to see it on TV, but when it actually is somebody that you know and love that's been impacted by this, it just kind of hits at a whole nother level.
Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
I mean, I really appreciate you providing me so much insight. And Zakat Foundation of America is actually one of the highly rated charities that's included on our response list. And for those that are looking to support the work that you're doing, what's the best way that they can do that?
You can visit www.zakat.org. That has all of our contact information. It has a very precise breakdown of our efforts now and then previous efforts and long-term efforts. I'm here 9 to 5. Readily available, questions, concerns. The major factor with charity work and monetary donations, that it's not a transaction where you make a contribution and you get an immediate item. It takes a lot of faith, and I think being in this line of work for such an extended period of time, I hold that very close to my heart, because I know where the dollar goes from A to Z. So yeah, please check us out. We're doing good work.
Absolutely, and certainly have a proven track record, and your outstanding rating on Charity Navigator shows your commitment to efficiency, effectiveness, good governance practices. So thank you for that, and thank you for the work that you're doing over in Turkey and Syria.
Thank you so much.